Hello, back on track with Breath of Air today for the last time. This is the song finished. Just finished mastering it, and there wasn't actually that much changed from the previous version, but we'll talk about all of that when we get to the end of the song. I've added no additional keyboards in. The song is absolutely fine as it is. The guitars are so busy, couldn't find any reason at all to make any change to it, and I really like the way it sounds, so that's that. Let's hear it, and then we'll come back and see what's what. First thing that we need to talk about is the absolute lack of anything being done to this guitar solo, which I've tortured over for pretty much the entire length of the song because it's got so many flaws in it. Fluffs and pops and squeaks and bangs and all sorts of stuff going on. I must have re-recorded that solo 4 or 5 times. One of them is here. Here's just one of the failed efforts to improve. I just couldn't, despite all of its flaws, I couldn't actually do anything that was any better. Put it down to me being a shit guitarist. I completely hold my hand up. Whatever it is about those notes, I can't make them be any better than they are. And I started getting really frustrated with it and just ended up realizing that I was getting worse and worse in my attempts and just completely wasting my time. And in the end, I've just let it be. It's really tricky, isn't it? Because I know it's not perfect and I would love it to be perfect and I would love it to be better than it is. But it actually sits reasonably well in the song and doesn't get in the way. So I'm a bit sad, but I just absolutely wrung the creativity out of it. Maybe in a year's time, if I come back and try again to remaster this song, as you know, my general kind of production skills improve, I intend or hope I would come back to these songs and see what I can do with them, and maybe I'll have another go at it in the future. But overall, you know, the sound is fine. The drums had a last minute overhaul from the perspective of just having too much breath, too much space. And it was a really quick fix in the end. There was just way too much decay on the snare and bass drum. If I turned this up, it was almost at full. As was the kick. You won't be hearing the changes to the kick quite so much because I also applied a gate, which will be interfering with the overall sound. Constantly having to be careful of my levels, make sure I don't blow your ears off. Just cutting the tails away. Obviously, if I bring it in too much, strangles the kick to death. It's quite an aggressive gate. It does a good job of just cleaning it up, getting it out the way once it's done. And I also made a really simple but important improvement to this strummed guitar bus with this little frequency bump. I'll just take it down. Just really helps it cut through the mix. Get everything else back in. All of this stuff, I know it's subtle, but I think this is the important stuff. I was absolutely in despair with this a week ago. I just couldn't mix it. In fact, I threw a load of stuff away and not quite started again, but I really was getting quite depressed with it. And it just ends up, you know, when you go down those rabbit warrens of I'll change this and then I'll change this, and all of these kind of incremental changes stack on top of each other. You wake up one morning and it just sounds like a muddy pile of absolute shit. So I ended up down one of those holes and stripped it all away and thought, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Listening to the entire song all at the same time. The bass needed ducking, so, you know, did a little bit of that with the getting the kick drum to kind of pull it out of the way. And it was also massively too loud. All sorts of things that were wrong with it. But in the end, it's come together really well and I'm very happy with it. It has been a bit of a tortured journey, this one. Part of the reason for me deciding to leave the guitar solo as it is because I'm becoming aware that I'm just getting frustrated with it and I need to leave it alone. But I'm actually going to, it was so close and it sounds absolutely good enough for me to stop at this point. So I am going to turn it into a song and stick a visualizer on it. But I do hope that in a year when I come back to it, I'll be able to maybe hear it with fresh ears. It's one of those that I'm not completely happy with it. I've just finished another song of mine, Something's Going On, which is a completely different kettle of fish. You know, when I listen to that, it just makes me happy and everything kind of zings. Whereas with this one, the song it's a strong song and I like it, but I'm not there yet. and I don't think I'm good enough to find out why. So I'm just going to leave it alone and hope in a year's time I am. Anyway, there it is. Breath of Air done. Hope you liked the song. Hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, please consider subscribing, hit notifications. I'll catch you for the next project. Hope to see you then.